social media platforms to connect, make sure I'm streaming there. Want to make sure I'm on Facebook. And it looks like I am. How you doing today? Thank you for being here. I'm actually I'm actually excited about being here. Really looking forward to being here this therapeutic Thursday. Yes, this is going to be very therapeutic for me. I've got a lot of other things going on that I'm evolving through, and just happy to be here. But welcome. Thank you for your support. And if you're brand new, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. And if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe and notification button. That way you don't miss any videos. And if you're over on Facebook, get over to my YouTube page, go on and subscribe. And if I'm catching you here on Haps, make sure you subscribe as well. Okay, truly, truly appreciate that. Again, another Thursday night. Last Thursday was here. Had a lot of fun engaging with you and talking with you on a number of different topics. And I'm back here again. We're going to make this our regular every Thursday night at 9 p.m. I am going to be in the cockpit and I'm going to be ready to roll with new content and new information to really help enhance your life. Okay. Um, Kind of a wild day. My day started off about I was literally at the park at 6:06 this morning, in the dark, just gazing at. There's a little lake that I walk around pretty much 6, 7 days a week, and I was just there. So my day started off there. After my meditation, I went home, jumped straight into action, and met with my sales team. And after that, um, went and got my hair cut. It's been about 3 weeks um, since I got my hair done, or hair cut, I should say. And it's so interesting because I'm from Detroit. I grew up there, and I've been bald most of my life. So my son got his barber's license. Um, I don't know, it's probably been over a year. And I guess he just won't give me a bald. So I'm always at his mercy when I sit in his chair because I never know what he's going to do. So today I go in there and he's like, "Well, Dad, what do you want?" And I'm like, "You can take it all off, but if you're not going to do that, just do it super, super, super low." So this is what he did. And you know what? It looks great. It looks really great. This is my issue. These kind of haircuts, they look good for the first couple days. And then after that, I don't know. It just has a mind of its own. But I want to, my son gave me, some props because he said, "Dad, your hair looks a little better. It looks a little fuller, less dandruff." So a lot of encouraging things. And I think that's a direct result of the black seed oil I've been using through Heritage. So I'm going to plug them real quick. Guys, jump on Heritage Black Seed Oil. It will enhance major areas in your life. Okay. But shout out to Heritage. But yeah, so I don't know what it's going to look like when I'm here next Thursday. It can look like a mess. It can look good. My son was like, "Yeah, you can brush your waves in." And I'm a low maintenance type of guy. And what I mean by that is I'm not the guy that's in the mirror doing this massive grooming with makeup and mascara and all this other stuff. I jump in the shower, jump out, lotion myself down, hit my whites, and I'm ready to go. But he's talking about a brush and a do rag and a do rag. Can you literally see Ace in the mirror at night wrapping a piece of cloth around his head? That's not how I roll. That's not how I roll at all. So we'll see. But yeah, drop some fire in the chat if you think the haircut's pretty cool. I think he did a good job. And again, I think it'll last for about 2 days, and then we'll see what happens. So, um, but I feel good. And I guess there's nothing wrong with looking good as well. So shout out to my son Ja for hooking his dad up, hooking me up. But next time, can we just get a bald? So I want to jump into the first topic I want to talk about tonight, and it's really dealing with the Facebook whistleblower. And I'm not going to get into who she is and all that because the name really doesn't even matter. Okay. But I do want to talk about this story because I found it very interesting. Because, fam, I got to be honest with you. When I first saw this, I was like the peanut gallery, like, yay, somebody's going after Facebook, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay, this could be huge, talking to myself. And then I watched the clip. I watched the 13-minute clip. And then I said, Ace, slow down, slow all the way down. Because after watching it, and allowing it to just sit in my spirit, I said, something is off about this whole thing. Something is just off about it. Because this individual went into Facebook, worked there for a number of years, came out of there with over 10,000 different documents, tens of thousands of what they would call evidence, exhibits. And all of that data only pointed to 2 or 3 issues. So the story was that Facebook allows violent content to continue to reel on their platform, making it unsafe for the viewing community. Teenage girls were also a victim. And there was just a little bit of talk about 2016, about around the election. And I'm like, no. And then it hit me that this was just a very clever psych op that was being ran on the public. Very clever. And my question is, where's the rest of the story? Where is the rest of the story? Like, all that evidence you pulled out of there, tens of thousands of paper, and you only come up with violence and something dealing with teenage girls. Now, the violence, I know is true. I've, I've I see a lot of it. There's not a day that I don't go on Facebook that I don't see it. And I don't, and what I do is, if somebody that's a friend of mine is showing this type of content, I think there's a way that you can just not see their posts. And that's what I do. So I don't unfriend them, but I just don't subscribe to seeing that violence. So I know the violence piece is shown over and over again. I can't speak to um, the teenage ladies or the teenage young girls, because I don't know how they market to them. So I can't speak to that, but I can speak to the violence. But again, where is the rest of the story? I wanted more talk on censorship. Censorship. Where's the talk on that? That was my thing. Like, you're on a national program, 60 Minutes, or it could even be global, and we don't spend any time talking about that, about the censorship of private citizens and their ability to just be free thinkers and to share what's on their mind. This is what amazes me about Facebook, and all of you have seen it. As soon as you go and you try to post, they say, "What's on your mind?" This is literally what they post. What's on your mind? Okay. It's right there. It's a question. But the issue is, as soon as you post what's on your mind, they feel they have the right to take it down or censor it. And that's the issue that I have with these virtual governments, hence the title in the video. Yes, virtual governments, because they are playing God as to what is good content and what is bad. They have these things called fact checkers. Fact checkers. I call them bias checkers because they're only checking based on their biasness. What is misinformation? What is truth? So when I look at these social platforms, and when you invite me to your platform and you have this, which is the question of, well, hey, what's on your mind? And then you don't really allow me to share what's on my mind, that's where the issue comes in. There are only a couple categories that I feel that should be not allowed on these platforms. Definitely anything that even hints at violence. Okay. That's a lower vibration that affects so many. You got physical harm. There's just so many different variables when it comes to that. Okay. So definitely that. Then anything dealing with, sex abuse. Okay. And I know that's kind of broad because some people may say, kissing shouldn't be allowed, this, that, I don't, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And some people might want to throw racism in there. And I'm not here to fight that, talk about that battle tonight or that argument tonight. But there should only be a couple categories. That should be it. And then you let everything else come in. That's how these platforms should be ran. They shouldn't be ran in some government. So this whole Facebook situation on 60 Minutes is just them really doubling down to censor us more, to control more of what content is on there. It's coming disguised as, oh, we have all this violence out here and we really need to take a hard stand, and let's go to Congress and all this, that, and the other. But there was no mention at all about censorship of private citizens that use that platform. And that's where the psych op is. And that's why I have to call this out, because I'm trying to illustrate to you the cleverness in this scheme, because it's a great story. She worked there and got frustrated and was just appalled at the violence that is just, all the violent videos that are just running through Facebook and affecting the community at large. And she's right. No lie to that. No lie to what may be taking place with the teenage girls, even though I don't have any, hard evidence that I can personally speak to. But let's just throw that in there, that is happening. Nothing wrong with that. Great. But baby, we should have included some other things. But again, this was just a disguise for Facebook to get more power to do more censorship. And that, my friends, That, fam, is really what's going on with this whole Facebook whistleblower. And a lot of times we got to go deeper. We can't just look at the surface. We have to go deeper. And I love how they just set this whole thing up and they made it seem like, yes, we're going to be tough and bring all this regulation. And no, the regulation has to do with more censorship to censor individuals like you and me that want to think for ourselves. I'm going to share with you my story. And last year, these virtual governments took down 3 of my videos. The first time they did it, I was like, okay, maybe it was a mistake, this, that, and the other. Because I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm violating. I didn't even understand. And I said, okay, I chalked it up to a mistake. They did it again, and they did it a third time, and I was enraged because my videos were about health, promoting a stronger immune system, and about unity. There was no violence. There was not calling anybody out. I didn't even say anything bad about anybody. I was just speaking to health, unity, and building up our natural immune system. And all those videos got taken down. And I heard somewhere that once you get flagged by these virtual governments on their platforms, then your content doesn't get out to your entire, following. I only have like 1,300 followers on Facebook, and they're censoring my stuff. And I've had people tell me that they're not even seeing my content because, and I know why. I know why now. I've been flagged. I've been blackballed. So I want you to think about that. They're taking down content that don't speak to violence, don't speak to hurting kids. They're taking down content that is geared towards helping us, helping one another. So yeah, I've been blackballed. My videos don't get out to all of the individuals um, that are friends of mine. You know, months ago, when I decided to really get into this and do it, there was some intimidation because I knew I was going against an uphill battle. I knew I was going up against this big juggernaut. And this is where I need the fam's help to share the content if it resonates with you, subscribe, and keep sharing, keep inviting, because that is the only way this platform, with all the work that I do, is going to grow. It's going to have to grow through individuals just sharing it, talking about it, subscribing. It's the only way, because these virtual governments, they do not like any content that promotes unity, that promotes togetherness, that promotes health, or promotes free thinking. They don't want it. It is not high up on their priority list. There's no algorithm to get that content out to the masses. They don't want people in peace and harmony. And that's the road that I chose to go down. And I knew it coming in the game because I had a decision to make. Well, how am I going to get viewers? I already knew unity, togetherness, empowering, enlightenment. No, the virtual governments look at that as poor content, and it's kind of like it's just suspended. Now, I can get my views up tomorrow if I go down another road. See, if I go down the road where I start promoting violence, the latest shooting, there's a bunch of videos I can pull from and, bring it back here and be like, yeah, look at this individual. There was somebody that shot a video in Detroit of somebody shooting at somebody. I saw another one in Rockford, I think, Illinois, about a couple guys shooting out right at the house. I mean, live time. It's crazy. Now that stuff gets views. Or if I talk about sex, if I show a bunch of women showing their behinds and turn that into a story, oh, my views will go up. All kind of subscribers. Because guess what? These virtual governments take that data in and say, yeah, let's put that out here. That'll go out to all four corners of these virtual governments and their platforms. The other thing I can do is talk about certain people. Yeah, I can do that. I can talk about certain individuals and get a whole bunch of views. Whole bunch of views. I had to make a choice. I chose not to go down that road. I chose to go down the hard road. And I knew I made that choice. And it was very intimidating, fam. Very intimidating. I know I got good content. I know I have information that can help people's lives. But I didn't want to compromise my agenda just for views. So I said, Ace, if you're going to do this, it's going to take a little bit longer to grow, but you're going to do it right. And that's why I need your help. You see this video, you are vibing with the content that I'm putting out, share it, subscribe. That's how you can help. Okay. Um, because, yeah, I wasn't going to go down the road of talking about violence, sex, other people. I could have jumped into the politics arena. That's not even who I am. I don't vote. I don't believe in the institution of government that we have in this country right now. I feel they're all working together. And then I could have talked about racism. That sells. I would probably get 1 million views if I start talking about white supremacists and stuff like that. And that is not to suggest that anyone that talks about these different topics are going about it wrong. It's not what I'm saying. It's just my agenda is to bring people together. My agenda is to help people get better as individuals. My agenda is about togetherness, love, and peace. So I decided to take the hard road. I decided to get into these virtual streets, roll my sleeves up, and just hit it and build this thing one brick at a time. But understand what these virtual governments are up to. Understand that what you may be looking at when you get your local news or your national news or your global news may really be not what it is. There was something that the Romans did back in the day, and if you know anything about the Roman Empire, it was probably back in the day very similar to the United States. They had their senators and, you know, they had their body of governments and all this, the guys with the white robes and this, that, and the other. But they had a concept called bread and circus. And through giving out free bread and free entertainment, they were able to control what they call the mob, the people. Okay. And I want to show you something. Um, so this is what the Coliseum looked like back in the day. Back in the days, back in the Roman days, this is what the Colosseum looked like. Does it look like anything familiar today? We're going back to the Roman days. So they would fill people up in these stands, and they would, give out a whole bunch of bread, and they would have gladiators fight in this place to the death. They would have animals fight gladiators, and 2 on 3, and 3 on 4, and one group, and people on chariots, and then everybody in the stand is just taking in all of this low dense energy. But this is how they controlled the mob. This is how they did it. Does that even look familiar to anything that you've seen before? How about this? The arenas have just changed. Okay. A little bit more modern, a little bit more evolved. But now, instead of giving these individuals here bread in a Coliseum type, brutal type environment, now you get cheap food and you get sporting entertainment. See, that's the new game. And I'm going to admit that I watch football. Okay. Um, but I understand the matrix that I'm jumping in when I participate in it. But what I found is that the more that I'm going through this ascension process, the more I'm letting go of my urge to even participate in watching sports like that. It's literally becoming kind of, I don't want to use the word meaningless, but it's becoming like, Ace, what are you doing? So the Romans had the Colosseum, give them bread, give them the circus, give them bread, give them the gladiators. Speed up today, we've kind of evolved, right? Modern stadiums. We don't have gladiator type sports where people are killing each other, but we have, football, baseball, basketball, soccer, wrestling, MMA. Guys, that's the distraction. That's the distraction that's going on. Cheap food and games, because their entire goal is to control our focus. And think of all the people that that are just obsessed about sports. They will hurt you over sports. This is the way to control the minds of people. And that's why these sporting events, they go what? All year round, don't they? You got baseball, football, basketball, and they just very easily blend one into the other. And it's designed for long term, maximum controlling of what we would call the mob, controlling of the people. And again, I'm not saying anything is wrong with it, but it's important that we take a look at the bigger picture of what's going on. It's about controlling. So when I talk about an inside look at World War III, I want you to understand we're in it, because World War III is all about the battle for your mind and my mind. World War III is all about the battle for your consciousness and my consciousness. That's what this is. And what I want you to understand is that you are very important, and they know that. The energy, the vibration that you hold within yourself is very important. And that's why they are fighting for it. They're fighting to control you, because the more you can be distracted, the less you can tap into your inner power. And if you're not tapping into your inner power, they've won you over. I want to share something with you. One person at an elevated level of peace, harmony, enlightenment is equal to thousands and thousands of people in a lower, dense vibrational energy of fear, anxiety, depression, One person. They don't want us to raise and elevate our light. They don't want us evolving. They don't want us focusing on our God given innate talents and abilities. They want to keep us distracted. And this is why I'm going to be out here in these virtual streets doing these videos and putting out as many as I can, because if I can reach one person that breaks through and enters that state of love, peace, joy, that's the equivalent of thousands and thousands of people that are in negative, lower states of vibrational energy. And that's what they're working to prevent. And they're losing right now. You won't see that on the news, but they are losing because every day more and more people are waking up. But it's going to take more people like you and myself to get out here and be the example. Energy is everything. Have you ever been in a situation, whether it was at a cookout or a seminar or a workshop, one person walks in a room and the entire energy of that room changed? I've had that happen several times with me. Several times. One person walks in and the energy of the entire place changed. Everybody's attitude is better because of that one individual. That's the power that you have within yourself. That's the power that we have. And when we work together in that higher state of energy and frequency, oh, it's game over. It's lights out. It's lights out. So as we are waging this spiritual war, their whole goal is to control our minds. Their whole goal is to control our consciousness. And that's why we always have to be armed with our spiritual toolbox and be able to tap in to our tools and use them every day so that we can become more of an example. Our meditation, promoting peace, unity, being the example. That's what we have to do. Remember, one equals tens of thousands in lower vibrational states. One individual can uplift tens of thousands of people. And they know this power exists. They know that it exists in every human being. The goal is to keep it suppressed, keep it down. And that's why I say we're in this World War III, because it's happening. You know, when we think of World War III, I know coming up, the whole fair thing was World War III. You're thinking what? Bombing, bullets, people dying, this, that, and the other. No, World War III is a war on consciousness, a war to control our mind. One bullet doesn't have to be fired. Why? Look at what war has shown in the past. Very destructive. Buildings that are destroyed, land that's destroyed. No, we'll just go in and control the people. If we can control the people, we can control the narrative. We can control the narrative, we get anything we want. That is what the game is. That's what it's all about. Have you ever noticed if you make a post, and I can't call it because it'll take this video down, but if you make a post regarding C19, okay, you should know what that is. If you make a post on C19, underneath it, what do they have? They have a clickable link where you can get all the information on C19. Now, why do you think they do that? See, there's no, how can I put this? There's a reason and an agenda for that. Like every post, they do that so that they can keep dripping the instrument of fear within our consciousness. You can't escape it. You cannot scroll through your feed without seeing it. There's not a day that you can go without being reminded about C19. Not one day, because their entire goal is to keep dripping into our system. See, they know about affirmations. They're working the affirmations in a different way. They're reminding us about how powerful affirmations are by keeping it in front of us. Because if you keep seeing the same thing 10,000 times, it will have an effect on you if you are not present enough to understand what's going on. That's how powerful we are, because we are beings that can suggest and speak. So if we're taking in C19, 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 fair, C19, fair, if we're taking that in 50, 60, 70, 80 times a day all around us, what do you think it does? It will break us down if we don't work to repel that off. If we don't work on keeping our energy and our vibration levels up and high. That's what's happening. That's why I said this whole thing is a psych op, and it's a war on the people, and it's global. That's why I say World War III. An inside look at World War III, they're waging war on the entire planet. It's happening all at once, but they are losing. And that's why I'm going to continue coming here once, twice, three times a week, as many times as I have to, because again, if I can just wake up a few, the few can affect the many. The few can affect the many. It's about controlling the minds. And they do it in so many different ways. So many different ways. They have fear, they have religion, they have politics, they have um, racism. Now they have C19. All of this stuff designed to keep us away from each other. So we have to, again, we have to be armed every day that we wake up. And we have to realize the power that we have within. And we have to realize that our unity is the key to speeding up what is going to take place anyway, because they are losing and they know they're losing. But I cannot stop, and you cannot stop elevating, ascending, and helping our fellow human being, our fellow brother and sister. We can't stop. They want us to stop, and they're putting things in place for it to stop. And all of these distractions that they're putting in front of us keeps us looking at that while they're doing something in the background. So it's our individual responsibility to, number one, know how powerful we are and to operate in that power and to assist others in unlocking the power within them. And then as we do that, this thing just stands out. Love is all that, there's nothing more powerful than love. There's nothing more powerful than love. And that's the message that we have to continuously send out. So as we close out 2021, know that the drum that we keep hearing is going to get louder. We're not through this yet. It's going to get louder. It's going to get louder. It's going to get more profound. You will be tested. I will be tested. And that's why we have to work on ourselves every solitary day. We have to work on ourselves to the point where we are not distracted by the workings of the Colosseum, that we're not distracted by the workings of the virtual governments. That's what we have to do. So, hey, that's my time. I want to thank you for being here with me. Definitely share this video if it vibed with you. Definitely subscribe. I'm going to be back here Monday and with more awesome content. But again, I want to thank you for being here with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Love and respect. We'll talk soon.